The next group of candidates we'll be hearing from are candidates running for state treasurer. Is Sarah Galuski here? You don't need to run, we'll be patient.
All right, hello OWR. How are you guys? So first, my name is Sarah Godlewski and I'm running hopefully to be your next state treasurer, but I want to first start by thanking all of you. How many of you remember the April 3rd election? Remember the April 3rd election? That was a pretty big election, and together we stopped Scott Walker's power grab from removing this office from the Constitution, which was significant. Members of the Save Our Fiscal Watchdog group, and I worked really closely with OWR, and together we did this. Because it's not an individual thing, it's something that we work together to do, and we achieved that by over 61% of the vote. We clearly sent a strong message. So, in traveling the state and talking about this office, one thing became incredibly clear to me, is that it has been neglected for over a decade by both parties. And when you think about it, people are like, well, Sarah, actually, what can the state treasurer start doing? I keep hearing that its responsibilities have been kind of diminished. Well, here's 3 things that this office can start doing on day 1. And here's my vision. The first is it can be your fiscal watchdog. It can review and examine financial transactions that involve your tax dollars. Have you guys heard of a company called Foxconn? Or maybe some sort of if you think about it, who's actually checking to make sure that they're spending the money the way that they told us? Or one of the things that kills me is that, I don't know how many of you are involved in nonprofits or involved in any business, but you have to create an annual report that tell your donors or that tell your stakeholders how you spend your money. We don't have in this state a taxpayer annual report. Who's telling us how our money was spent the way that it was supposed to be? So that's, I think, the first thing. The second thing is to invest in Wisconsin's future. This office is the financial trustee to 4 trust funds worth over $1.2 billion. Do you know what that money goes to? Public schools! Last year alone, over $35 million went to all public schools. Now, what's so unique about being the financial trustee is that it has independent investment authority. And it can use its money to help invest in things like rebuying student loan debt. How many of you have student loans? It could use its low interest portfolio to buy your student loan debt. My student loan debt was over $75,000 and I was paying 9% interest. How can Wisconsinites get ahead if they can't even keep up? And the last thing is to be your fiscal advocate. This office in the Constitution, it says it's the chief banker. How many of you remember the Wells Fargo scandal? So, there are thousands of people that were kicked off of their loans, they paid high interest. I'm going to get pulled off the stage because I can talk about this stuff all day long. To learn more about me, please go to www.sarahforwisconsin.com. And I love OWR. Thank you.
Okay, she's pretty quick, so I have to be a little quicker next time. So the next candidate we're going to hear from is Cynthia Comp. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
You said it right, thank you. Hi there, I'm Cynthia Comp. Thanks for telling everyone that, Brian. I just thought I would reinforce it so you remember my name on August 14th. I would like to run for this office for one very simple reason. There's this term called concentration of power. It's a big problem in our state. We have 6 statewide constitutional offices, which have slowly been chipped away and services and programs illegally transferred to other agencies under one office primarily. Anyone want to guess what that is? The governor's office. I would like to change that because I want to live in a democracy and I want to raise my child in a true democracy. I know about these powers being stripped away and the challenges of this office because I have advocated for nearly a decade and over this course of 3 state treasurers' tenures for this office. And so I would like to thank you for saving it on April 3rd, because without you, I wouldn't be standing here. So way to go, everybody. Thank you for that. Good job. That's right. So as the Director of Communications and Community Outreach for this office for 3.5 years, I personally had a hand in setting state and national records of performance for a number of programs, including the Unclaimed Property Program. In just 2.5 years during my tenure, we managed to return more than $100 million to the people of Wisconsin through the Unclaimed Property Program. And these were people who needed it. We found them, we aggressively sought them out, and we made sure we had to convince them the government actually wanted to give them money back. I have an extensive resume of experience here in this office. I'm proud of that. I'm also proud of being from Wisconsin. I was born and raised in a union family by a high school guidance counselor and a UW communications professor. I am a public school kid, so rest assured I will push for the restoration of programs to this office, because the proper investment of those programs transfer to the Board of Commissioner of Public Lands, which invests indirectly into those 4 funds worth more than $1.2 billion, benefiting our public schools. I take that very seriously. My daughter is also a public school kid, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I own 2 businesses here in Wisconsin and pay taxes here in Wisconsin. I work with a financial firm. I'm licensed in insurance and securities, which is something you need for your financial guardian to oversee the finances of the state. I subscribe to financial reporting in transparency in financial reporting. I push to do that. I also want to tell you I work very hard for the populations of people which we don't necessarily see represented in government, through a number of programs I pioneered in that office, and a decision we just pushed this week from the Elections Commission, the Ethics Commission. Childcare is now an allowable campaign expense here in the state of Wisconsin. Are you trying to hug me? Thank you. Thank you.